Hey Commanders fans, get ready, because today we have exclusive news about our team, and you can't miss a single detail. So take advantage and subscribe to the channel. Activate the bell to receive everything firsthand, and of course, leave a like to strengthen our support and show that there are only true fans here. Our commitment is to always bring you the latest updates, news, and everything that goes on behind the scenes at Commanders. So, without further ado, let's check out today's news. Deebo Samuel faces pressure in first year with Washington Commanders wide receiver. Deebo Samuel has 1 year left on his contract before he becomes a free agent. Samuel, 29, is 4 years removed from being an all-pro receiver, but he still has gas left in the tank. ESPN insider John Keim analyzed Samuel's role on the team and how important it is for him to perform at a high level in 2025. Samuel predicts big year with Commanders. Samuel, who the Commanders consider a valuable chess piece due to his ability to play receiver or run the ball, has missed a total of 8 games in the last 3 years. Since finishing with 1,770 yards from scrimmage in 2021, he has only surpassed 870 yards once, Keim wrote. But he fits the bill for what Washington likes to do. He excels on screens, and the Commanders have added athleticism to their line this season, which should help open up gaps in space. Quarterback Jaden Daniels has thrown 52 screens, 6th most in the NFL. Samuel is also an expert at breaking tackles on short passes. Daniels has attempted 26% of his passes at or behind the line of scrimmage, 12th most in the NFL. The Commanders traded for Samuel hoping he would be a big target for Daniels alongside Terry McLaurin in the offense. Samuel only has 1 year left to prove himself, but he had the opportunity to negotiate an extension, but declined. That gives Samuel the flexibility to join another team in 2026. But if things go his way, the Commanders will pay him more than they were willing to spend this offseason. Commanders dodged an $80 million bullet by not signing a big-name bust. Washington Commanders' offensive line was a constant frustration under the previous coaching staff. But for all of Ron Rivera's flaws, he made some big decisions, resisting the temptation to spend money on Jawaan Taylor was one of them. Washington was crying out for a stable edge guard at the time. Charles Leno Jr. was effective, but limited on the blind side. Things were even worse at right tackle, which put Taylor at the top of analysts' projections when speculating about the Commanders' next big move. That didn't come to fruition. The Commanders relied on Andrew Wiley's familiarity with then offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy rather than risking it all on Taylor. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs, but the big money move didn't pan out as planned. Commanders made the right decision by passing on Jawaan Taylor in free agency. Taylor struggled to find consistency. His technical flaws are exposed almost constantly. His 17 penalties in 2024 were simply abysmal. Considering he cost the Chiefs a 4-year, $80 million contract, they probably expected much more. NFL Spin Zone's Lou Scartaglia has named Taylor as Kansas City's worst contract for the 2025 season. The analyst also believes the former Florida standout could be a potential salary cap cut candidate if significant improvements aren't made quickly. I don't know if you heard this, but it's yet another penalty being called against Jawaan Taylor, the Chiefs' $20 million a year right tackle. Taylor has simply not been good for Kansas City. According to PFF, he was called 17 penalties in 2024 and ranked as the 82nd best tackle out of 140 qualified players. Kansas City had to part ways with Joe Thuney this offseason due to financial concerns, as they now want to extend guard Trey Smith, and I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor is a cap hit at some point. Wiley hasn't fared much better in Washington. The veteran has more discipline and didn't give up a sack last season. However, he struggled on an island and looked vulnerable against speedsters. That forced General Manager Adam Peters to take drastic action, improving the protection in front of star quarterback Jaden Daniels was Peters' top priority this offseason. The Commanders traded for Laremy Tunsil, one of the league's most talented pass protectors. They also invested the 29th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft on Josh Conerly Jr., who should replace Wiley at right end if his initial transition goes smoothly. Commanders make important decision in pursuit of Bengals pass rusher TREY HENDRICKSON. The Washington Commanders have made a lot of noise this offseason as they appear to be building a roster capable of reaching the Super Bowl sooner rather than later. NFL.com ranked Washington as one of 5 NFL teams that have made major strides since the end of 2024 to set themselves up for a big season in 2025. While the NFL.com article began by focusing on all the obvious major improvements on offense, with the Commanders trading for Deebo Samuel and Laremy Tunsil, and then spending their first-round pick on former Oregon tackle Josh Conerly Jr., they made a point of highlighting the underrated additions Washington has made on defense as well. Defensively, the additions of Deatrich Wise and Jonathan Jones bolster a unit that is excelling under head coach Dan Quinn and defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. If the Commanders can continue to get key contributions from their young defensive backs, Mike Sainristil, Quan Martin, and Trey Amos, the reigning NFC runner-up could take the next step in 2025. The defense was far from the Commanders' strong suit in 2024. Although they finished 13th in the NFL, allowing 326.9 yards per game, Washington was exposed when it mattered most. Although Jaden Daniels and the Commanders' electrifying offense led them to 2 playoff wins and reached the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1991, the defense was non-existent in the postseason. They played well in the wild card matchup, limiting the Buccaneers' potent defense to just 20 points. But the Commanders allowed 31 points on the road in Detroit. In the NFC Championship, Washington's defense was exposed in a big way, with the Eagles rattling off 455 total yards and scoring 55 points. If the Commanders want to make it to the Super Bowl in 2025, they need to play better defense. The Commanders have responded to their struggles in stopping the run, an area where they struggled significantly in 2024, by adding size and flexibility to the front court. Deatrich Wise Jr., Javon Kinlaw, Eddie Goldman, Carl Davis Jr., and the re-signed Sheldon Day form a formidable front line, with Dorrance Armstrong returning at edge and Darren Payne anchoring the middle. With so much size on the front line, the Commanders will likely be hoping to unleash linebackers Bobby Wagner and Frankie Luvu as both pass rushers and against the run. The one question that has lingered throughout the offseason is the lack of a dominant edge rusher, as Dante Fowler Jr.